feel like this would be helpful to someone, whether you're watching this live now, maybe you could just share it, or after when you're watching the replay, just share it. My motivation is really to support people in liberating themselves and yeah, because I truly believe that we are meant to have the lives that our hearts desire, and we are the only things in our way of and holding us back. And so part of what some of that are these past pains. And so for those of you that are listening live now, and then if you happen to catch the replay, I'm going to have a little special offer at the end that you could take advantage of to go a little bit deeper in what I share. My intention today is to help you understand what I refer to as past pains, how you can begin to identify your own past pains and liberate yourself. And so, where are we? We're like at 12:01. You guys are here. I could get started. And I should just introduce myself in case there's anybody on here that doesn't know who I am. My name is Kellyanne Mataskevitz, and my website is www.kellyannecorey.com. And I'm an intuitive healing guide. And I'd say my superpower is what I really do is I help get to the core of, what's holding a person back from fully living and expressing the life that they desire. And so whether it's a buried belief, a past pain, unconscious contract, belief systems, I operate on the field of energy because we are energetic beings, and some of these emotional and intellectual things that I talk about are also hold energy. And so by just shifting the intellect isn't quite enough sometimes. We actually have to see where we're holding that in our body and release that. And so I've been doing this work since about 2003. My background is energy medicine, understanding the mind-body connection. I'm a holistic health coach. I'm also trained in emotional freedom technique, so that when I'm working with someone, we're getting to the core of what's holding them back in many different ways. I talk about my work is kind of like Mr. Miyagi, it's like wax on, wax off, and then all of a sudden Karate Kid has got all these awesome moves. That's what I find with my work is that, I'm getting around and coming through the side door and beyond the ego and the protective mechanisms, and really helping to dismantle and transmute some of this stuff that we've held on to and, hold on to and keep ourselves what we think is safe, but it's actually preventing us from moving forward. So today I'm going to talk about past pains. And so the way that I see past pains and how they move through our life is it's actually a way that when we have this past pain experience, it creates this operating mechanism within us. It's like how we begin to move through life. So 2 weeks ago, I spoke about buried beliefs. And buried beliefs, the way that I see them, are the ways that we make choices, the ways we make decisions that we could see our buried beliefs in the cycles that we have and the patterns that we have. The thing with past pains are they're a little bit more challenging to identify because they become just like who we are and how we show up in the world. And a little bit later, I'm going to share how you can begin to identify like how you know that there is a past pain in your way. And so, these past pains come from traumas, big T, little t traumas, something that, happened in maybe your family and your childhood. You could be carrying something from ancestral line, continuing to carry out that trauma, something that can happen in a playground, in front of a classroom, something that happened with a friend. It's when these things happen in our childhood, we don't have the emotional capacity to really understand what is going on. So we kind of make up our own meaning, and then we don't want that feeling to happen again. And so we create this inner operating system. So similar to a cell phone and a computer, right? So it's like, it just operates. And that's why sometimes these past pains are really hard to identify. And so, so trauma, betrayal, abandonment, abuse, behaviors we witness. So, growing up in families that are passing down these ways of being, and it almost just becomes like who we are. But we are in this time and space, here we are, 2017, that we are all starting to wake up and recognize that there is more of life available to us. And, those of us that are even those of you that are showing up watching this video, you're part of your own evolution, and deep within you that there is more to life. And it's some of these things that we are here to transmute, not only for our own life, but heal the generation and the ancestral pattern behind us and then ahead of us. I also see when I'm doing my work is that these past pains come in through past lives, where we had this past life experience, and then we can, it's part of our soul's evolution and our learning process to move through that, and we're still carrying it through. And so I made a little drawing. And so this is how so when I asked Spirit, I was like, okay, I'm pretty big on metaphors and visuals, and really trying to take some of these concepts and develop ways that people can really just help integrate and on the intellectual and the energetic level. So when I asked Spirit, so here's this thing, it's like past pains, and it's like this foundation, and then it affects like all these different areas of our life. So, it's probably backwards, right? I forget that. Love, our health, our careers, our, money. So on almost like a conscious level, we may be doing all of these things to bring us forward, but we're not able to break through because there may be a past pain in the way. And so these, what did I call it? This operating mechanism. So this operating mechanism that, runs through these different areas of life, we create it so that we don't have to experience that pain again. So some examples of like how that might be showing up in your life. So needs. So let's just say that you come from a background where your needs weren't met. Maybe there was neglect, maybe there was abuse, maybe you were, maybe you just weren't in a family that it was, you weren't able to have needs. And so what happens is that we create these operating mechanisms inside, or we carry forward with us the fact that our needs can never be met. And so when we're having this desire and we're not allowing that experience to happen, love, money, career, whatever it is, we have to look deeper, because it's likely this past pain that we've locked in and said, I don't ever want to feel what it feels like to be denied my needs again. Betrayal, so seeing this in even romantic relationships where things didn't quite work out, or there was actually some heartbreak or infidelity, or, trust broken within the relationship. And what happens is that there's a part of us that doesn't want to feel that pain again. And so we go about life thinking that we've got the best, awesomest, that's a word, awesomest, dating profile, and, we're, getting out and we're meeting people, but nothing's happening. We're never coming across the people that we feel like we want to meet. And it's because this inner operating mechanism is actually keeping the experiences away from you. The way that I see these things too is like we're energetic beings, and when we have a past pain program within us, it's also, as I said earlier, it's an energy. And so like a magnet, it will attract or deflect the experiences that we desire away from us. It also attracts the the experiences too, and I'm going to get into that. But I just also want to mention a couple more things. So, money is a big thing for people. And if we have any past pain experiences around just witnessing what our families had gone through, or, fights or bad things that were done with money, that we don't want to be a part of, we end up actually cutting ourselves off from having the money that we want, because we don't want to either, get in situations where we're fighting with somebody, or where, we're repeating the patterns from our family. And so there's something else about the money there. Yeah, there are also, and I'm going to do another talk on unconscious contracts, but there's also stuff about unconscious contracts that keep us from allowing money. And then the thing with like business, what I've seen with some of the people that I work with who are wanting to create businesses for themselves. So, healers, teachers, guides, intuitives, mystics, and even people who want to do and express more in their lives. If there's any part in the past where they've been made fun of or felt vulnerable, or what happens is like you don't ever want to feel that pain of being made fun of again or feeling vulnerable again. So you start to hide out and keep yourself from being seen. And this shows up. It's so funny because when you have the past pain pattern or program in there, it'll show up on the outer as some things like, like lack of confidence. The thing, like I said, with the dating, it's just like, it feels like the experiences aren't happening. The thing with money, it just seems like, oh, well, I'm just not able to manifest the money. So that is the outer expression of what's going on inside. And so, so I spoke about how the energy, so this past pain program is an energy within us. And so that energy, as I said earlier, can either detract the experiences from, like I was just saying right now, or it can actually attract similar experiences. So I truly believe that life is for us. And some of the experiences may not feel so good sometimes, but it's life. If you can see it as life is bringing you these experiences, and it is always for you. And the intention is to help release these inner limitations that you have within you. So the emotional, the intellectual, the energetic, the belief systems, the past pain patterns. So we'll have these experiences come that are similar to the past pains, but the effort and the reason is to help us identify it so we can like pluck it out like a root to a weed. And so when you see these past pains, so part of what I want to express here today is that when you have an experience that doesn't feel so pleasant, really take a look at, okay, what is here for me? What is part of my higher self creating this experience for me to release, let go of, step more into what I want to experience. So, because sometimes we get so caught up in the pain of it, we don't really see that this is actually something that's helping us to free ourselves from. So stay out of your head. Come from the powerful place that there's a part of me that's creating this. Life is for me. What is here for me? And so these past pain programs they're limiting. So how do they show up? We're playing small in life. We're not stepping forward with, what it is we're here to do. We're hiding out. One big thing is that we are denying ourselves what we want. We don't show up for ourselves in our lives. Like I said earlier about, showing up as insecurity, lack of confidence. We're worrying about what other people think. It's all limiting. And so, I was really inspired to talk about this week, and because I identified this huge past pain program that is freaking mind-blowing. And essentially, I was moving through life playing a little small and not speaking up, not sharing my truth, in ways of, stuff like this. But it was affecting my work, and it was also affecting my relationships. And once I identified that the way that I was operating, where it came from, what I realized that there was a part of me that had this experience in my childhood where I believed that if I spoke up, I would die. That me speaking my truth, me speaking up, me sharing, me questioning something, me wanting to understand could mean death. And so once that was identified, I actually, I felt amazingly free. I felt like I could freaking fly. I wanted to sing. The lift inside my body was so palpable. It's almost as if this huge boulder was released from me. So, and that really came from an experience and an exchange that I had with someone who was conscious and had kind of brought it to my attention. And I looked at it, and now I have this opportunity to show up and operate differently. And so again, that energy is no longer here. And on an intellectual level, I know I'm not going to die if I speak up. And another example I want to share is a client who had a past experience where she also felt like it could mean death, like her showing up and being who she's meant to be in this world, it could mean death for her. And once we identified I was doing an intuitive reading for her, and it just showed up so clearly in her field. And once I identified and shared with her, she could look back just all of the ways in which she was hiding out and standing in the background and not fully showing up. And literally, when we were speaking, she had literally been hiding out in her room for a very long time. Not showing up for her own life, not showing up, knowing that she's got this passion and these gifts to offer the world. And so since we spoke, she has been, her life is changing. She's very, I could see how liberated she is. She's speaking up more. She is motivated to, offer her work out into the world. And so there's nothing stopping her now. I mean, and it's so profound. Back to here, once we, release this root, so much in your life is available to you. And so it's almost okay, so you guys ready for this? How do you know you have a past pain operating within you? I don't know why I'm getting goosebumps right now, because it just feels like it's so liberating to have this information and to know that you have the power to shift and to create your life without limitation. And so how do you know if the past pain program is running through you? Is that what you're trying to do feels so hard? It's like you've taken all the programs, you'd hired all the coaches, you read all the books, you got all the business plans together, but something is keeping you from moving forward. It's almost as if you have this invisible wall in front of you, or that glass ceiling that they talk about. So it's you feel like it's just this, you can't move forward. And there's no logical reason for it. And so the reason why there's no logical reason for it is because it's just something about who you are. It's just a part of who you are. Another way that you can identify if you have, start to pay attention, do I have a past pain running through me, is that if you have a desire within you and you're just not able to make it happen. So not able to make it happen. The thing is that if you have the desire within you, it's possible. If it's in your mind, if it's in your heart, it's possible. I don't know why this is coming to mind, but it's like, oh, if I don't have a desire to learn like Japanese, but if I did, like, I know that it would be totally possible. If, so if there's anybody watching this and they have a desire to have a romantic relationship or more money in their bank account, or to actually launch that business that like gets their heart so excited and feels inspiring, the fact that there's this visual, this desire, it's totally possible. So if you're feeling like you can't make it happen, it's possible there's a past pain in there. Fear, anxiety, overwhelm for no reason whatsoever. Another indicator that there might be a past pain operating in the background, keeping you from experiencing more of what you want to experience. Okay, something that's coming through right now is that too, it's like, as we're so this is to, as you're becoming aware of that you may have a past pain program running through you, your awareness starts to open up. But then what happens is the part that has been protecting you or keeping you safe kicks in and starts to tell yourself stories. So pay attention to the stories that go through your mind as you're starting to become more aware of how there may be a limitation within. So it'll tell you, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you need to lose more weight, you can't do it because nobody else can. So those are some indicators that your ego mind, the small part of you, is actually trying to pull you back in. And so what happens is that, like, once these past pains are recognized and dissolved, there's so much more available to us. And when I say dissolved, again, it goes to, so we can understand it on the intellectual level, but then there's this also that energetic piece, that program, that magnet that's been running around. And sometimes this is a very, very important piece. So we dissolve that, right? We allow that energy to transmute. The interesting thing about past patterns that I forgot to mention earlier is that when we have them, we actually start to see life through these past pains. So we start to, on a not so conscious level, we start to almost look around for ways that we could be betrayed, or ways that we could be hurt, or ways that we could be annihilated or killed even. And so what happens is that that's keeping us from the present experience. That keeps us from really owning all of the power that we have. So, there's more on that. And another way, it's like going back to like how it's passed down, these generations before us and how they saw life. We're coming from not too far away from like the Depression. We're still in that ancestral line where like that could have impacted, family dynamics, family ways of being. And so, we're living life through those views from the past. So once the past pains are recognized, you are free on so many levels. You have the inner power to co-create and manifest the life that you desire. Because here's why. You don't have that energetic program running through you anymore and taking up all of that energy. So we dissolve that program, and now you have more of the true energy of who you are as a spiritual co-creative being. Synchronicities occur. You're more in the flow. The people and experiences that you want to interact with just start showing up automatically, because you don't have that magnet there that's saying, stay away, I could be hurt, I don't want to experience this again. As I said earlier, this energetic opening within the body, just a lightness. I shared in my video about the buried beliefs, is that my past, I had been on a roller coaster of weight loss and weight gain, finally losing and keeping off 100 pounds. And it was because of some of those past pains. There was a part of me that felt that having some extra weight actually kept me safe and kept people away from me. Well, once I healed that, the energy, because I didn't do a special diet, the energy of that past pain program released, and I was able to keep the lose and keep the weight off. And then the other thing, your mind opens up to whole new possibilities, right? Because now we don't have these glasses on. Now we're not looking at life through these limited views. Now it's like all these open possibilities, like ideas, thought, like just imagination, just no limitations about what is possible. It's just so funny how we like limit ourselves to like, well, this can't happen because of this, or this can't happen because of that. All of that goes away. And then it's like our mind is like expanded to what could be possible. So creativity, we find our passions. We really lock into what our purpose is in life. And so much more. So much more is available to us when we're not, holding these walls or holding on to these programs that are no longer serving us. And so the reason why you want to clear this up is so that you can feel free, so that you can know your innate powers, you can get in tune with your innate gifts and your purpose and your passions in life, and that you can be that powerful magnet attracting to you more of what you want and desire. So again, if it's in your awareness, it's totally possible, and the only thing in the way is you. So start to take a look at, like I mentioned, how to identify some of the past pains, as if like what you're trying to accomplish is too hard, if you're feeling stuck in moving forward, if you have a desire but can't seem to make it happen, if like fear and anxiety and overwhelm come up for no reason whatsoever. Those are just some of the reasons, or the ways that you can identify your past pains. Moving forward, there's so much, it's really about allowing. It goes to that, it's like that invisible wall. It's like, the important thing I want to share now too is that so much of the work that I do isn't always like digging into the past. These things show up when it's like we're trying to take the step forward. We're trying to manifest what we want. And then this is where I see the energy. That's that invisible wall holding you back from allowing. So even if what you could take away from today, even if you can't quite see where you may be carrying some past pain programs, start to allow your energy and your mind and your focus to be in the space of allowing. Like how, I want to allow this love into my life. I want to allow more money into my life. I want to allow more richer experience into my life. I want to allow opportunities into my life that, that will fulfill me in whatever way. So put some focus on allowing, because it's like allowing is also kind of shows up as one of those invisible walls. I know for me, I've been working with this energy for this new energy. I just tapped in probably about a month ago, and maybe more than a month ago. And just the experiences that I've been creating and attracting, and because also a big piece of me releasing some of my own past pains and patterns and belief systems have elevated me to this new energy of this vibratory magnet that I've been attracting amazing people into my life, personally and professionally, and opportunities. I just was on the radio yesterday, and there's so many things going on, and it feels really good to be in the flow and in synchronicity. So let me see Jess. So Jess says, you definitely helped me sum up to feel my dreams and feelings. Yes, correlate to it. My dreams have been rising, and then bam, a wall hits. Yes, everything. All right, hold on. I gotta see more. Everything going forward has been hard. Yes, I've identified. I am seeing it. I would love to transmute it. Awesome, Jess. Oh my gosh, that is so exactly right. It's like, so what I would love, to also share here is, so as you start, so keep dreaming, keep putting your focus on what you want. And when that wall comes up, just see if it's like, what am I thinking? What, how is this familiar? Like I said, these past pain patterns are just a little bit more tricky because they become who we are, and we can't see them for ourselves because it's like this operating mechanism. It's like our heartbeat. And so I'm glad that I helped you identify that. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it. And let's see. Danny says, my comment about desire. Yep, desire to have it, more financial freedom, but nope. So it's so interesting how often we are denying our own desires. And it is possible. And so we have to look at, so Danny, I'm just tuning in, and I know you didn't ask, but I'm just taking a look at your energy for a second. Yeah, so what I'm seeing is like, and this is for everybody, is that when we come from any, these past generations, so it's like for you, Danny, I see a few things like intertwined in there. It's like the lineage and the like needs not being met, and then there's also maybe some stuff in there about an unconscious contract about not expanding beyond what others had experienced. And so a way, and this is for everybody, is that a way to start building our muscle around allowing our desires is start to do it in the little ways too. All right, so I'm just going to use Danny's example about financial freedom. And so there may be some stuff on the inside that needs to be resolved, but she's identifying there's a desire. And so we could start to fulfill our own desires in little tiny ways, and then that actually builds the muscle to help break free the bigger desires that we have. I mean, it's not that big. We just like make it up. It's all the same. And what we want is also an energy, right? So money is an energy, love is an energy. And so, for us to become the vibrational magnet or the similar resonance to, and I feel like I was going somewhere with the desire. Okay, yes. So start to fulfill our own desires. So start to pay attention to how do I cut off my desires? Like, we get so focused on like these to-do lists and what we have to accomplish, but then there could be a part of us that wants to desire experiencing more art, more play, more, scrumptious foods, more interactions with people. Whatever it is, like start to pay more rest, more, body movement, whatever it is, start paying attention to how you might even be denying yourself little desires. And then it's almost like it starts to builds a muscle. And then it can start to wipe out that invisible wall, because we start to train ourselves on little ways that it's okay to have desires, and that if I have a desire, it can be fulfilled. And so it's like we're training our mind, and we're training our psyche, we're training our body that it's safe, or that we can allow it, that it's possible. So see where you can give yourself more desires. That's for everybody. So does anybody else want to share, or any aha moment or question or anything? And thank you for showing up. Thank you for the interaction. Thank you for sharing. If you find this was valuable, I appreciate it. And I'm just going to ask Spirit if there's anything left that would help or support. Yeah, here it is. Is like, if you can think of that you in your life are the designer of your life's play, that you are the producer, the director, you are the artist painting your life. Everything that you are creating comes from you. And so it is totally possible to allow whatever that desire from within you to also be a part of that. And so the interesting thing is that we are also creating these past pain programs and these buried beliefs and unconscious contracts. But as we become aware, we can be the more vibrant director, artist of our lives. So Spirit really wants you to know that what's within your heart is totally possible. Really appreciate your feedback and hearing how this resonated and how it opened your mind, and hopefully I've provided some insight and guidance to guide you into understanding more about yourself, because that is what I'm all about, is about empowerment. Because when our work is through, you are you're left with yourself, and you're going to have the tools to be able to maneuver through life and remain in your power and your co-creative abilities. Come through, you can email me at hello@kellyannecorey.com, or you can message me on Facebook. I love you guys. You're amazing. Remember that, know that, and we'll talk soon.